Hello, I'm Panos Kotzathanasis, and this is Bad Accent Video Interviews. Today I'm here with...
Maharshi Tuhin Kashyap. I'm the director of Kok Kok Kookook. My film, this is the name of my first feature film, which is premiering in Busan this month.
Okay, excellent. Okay, since you just pronounced it, tell me a bit about the title of the movie. I understand it's the sound that chickens do, but why did you decide to have this as your title?
Uh, I don't know. It was the protagonist of our film is a chicken seller. Uh, when I was in Assam, in Assam where I'm from, in India, in our part of the world, when somebody sells chicken, they generally call them by the name Shiken.
Hmm.
It's just a pronunciation. So our character's name also is Shiken. For a very long time, the name of the film was also supposed to be Shiken, but then I felt that somehow something was lacking. But then the sound of the chicken also has a lot of meaning. It's just kok 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 kok. But when the chicken says kok 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 kok, then it is always action. The chicken is trying to emote something very strongly. So that's why the name of the film is Kok Kok Kookook.
Okay, great, great. And tell me a bit about the inspiration behind the story. You deal with various themes of immigrants, and also a number of other things. So tell me a bit how did you came up with the idea for the film?
Panos, I live in this part called the northeastern part of India, and we are located right above Bangladesh, and we are this hand of India, the northeastern part of India. Like when you look at the map of India, India has a hand like this. So we live in that hand part. So we are connected through a very interesting small area of land, and that is called Chicken Neck because it's squeezed in between. Then there is Bhutan and Nepal, and there is Bangladesh. We also share our border with China and Myanmar. So it's a very different kind of space than how uh, you would imagine India to be. So uh, we have always been through. We have always had this issue of immigration. Since my childhood, I have always been, taught to uh, hate immigrants. Uh, and I mean, it's to think of it now, although it's very sad, but then it also had its own reasons because the northeastern region, also is a very marginalized region of India. We have always been, a region which was always looked down. So all of these things, since childhood, I think it grew up inside me that how we treated immigrants and how we also became immigrant when we travel out of our region. Even when we are traveling to a different region in India, we become kind of we are looked down upon. We are treated in a very different way. So it's a mixture of all of this, I guess. And if I think of an incident, I one day I saw a motorcycle lying outside my house, and I heard that there is an accident near my house, and for a longest time nobody came to claim it. There was no police, there was no one from the victim's side, no one who claimed to own the bike. It just kept lying for a very very long time. I was always curious about it, but one day the bike just disappeared. No one knew where it went. No one knew who took it, but it just disappeared. From there, I think the story stems out and
Hmm.
becomes what it is.
Okay. Okay, and your portrayal of the police is particularly dark. Like you portray them in a really bad way, I felt. So is that your opinion about the police in the area?
Um, it's not really about the police. It's more about um, power, I would say. Police in the film actually portrays powerful people. You know, police also, the policemen also in different scenarios, because they are also, yeah, even our characters in the film, although they are this notorious policemen, they are also having this pressure from a
Mm,
minister because of an accident, because of which they are somehow they want to find somebody. It's like that. So it's about how people misuse the power they have all the time,
mhm,
and the people who are in the fringes are the ones who are always affected. It it can be police, it can be, know, minister, sometimes it can be a landlord, it can be anyone who is supposedly, who belongs to supposedly a more affluent or a higher class of the society. So the police definitely portrays those people. It's not exactly how it looks like, maybe.
mhm, mhm. Okay, okay. And in general, the film, you try to balance deadpan comedy with social critique. And I was wondering, how did you manage to retain this balance, that letting one aspect, let's say, overtake the other one?
um I think it's just how I look at life. When I don't think that the form of a film, for me at least, comes from anywhere else other than myself. I feel the way we look, the way I feel about my space, my city, uh, the people around me who I interact on a daily basis, how I look at them, that is how I look at them in the film as well. And the humor comes from within that. It's it's so sad that it's funny.
Mm,
It's so sad that it's very, very funny. You just laugh at it. It's bizarre. um, I mean, that keeps happening all the time. It just, life just sometimes feels it's, uh yeah, it's it feels like it's out of some very dark film, and yet it's funny. I guess that's how I look at cinema, and it just comes in automatically.
okay, okay. And tell me a bit about how did you manage to manufacture this motorcycle in the end? That seems very difficult to to fix something like that.
Uh, it's. I think it comes. Uh, I don't know. It's. It. I think I spent a lot of time thinking about it. A lot of people actually told me that Uh, it's not possible to create something. When people read my script, they always imagine the film to be of a certain kind of, maybe science fiction, or you know where there is a lot of CGI and stuff like that. They always imagine it like a human being, like that. Eh, Mechanical. They would imagine mechanical elements to it. But when I was thinking about it, I think it comes from my theater background. I have spent around 12 years in children theater, and when we used to do children theater, mostly it was like this. It used to be a very normal thing for us when we were children. uh, the suspension of disbelief, is so prominent in those kind of theater, where people would just with basic gestures, or basic, maybe without with just a just a stick, maybe they will emote a particular character and people will believe in it. That suspension of disbelief, I think, is something that I have always been attracted to. I felt that maybe it will, I always knew that it will work. I kept on thinking how to build it. I talked to a lot of my friends who could maybe develop it for me, but eventually it came down upon me myself, and I had to imagine thinking about how it is going to look on screen. So yeah, I tried to think about the design, but there is this person who works in a shop nearby in my home, um, and happens to be an uncle of mine. He is the one who designed it. The whole design of it he did by himself. So it was a long journey to make it, and especially the longer journey was to make people believe that it will work. Firstly, I was always confused myself whether I will be able to exactly portray it. And then there were all these people around me who believed in the film, but this idea was so bizarre that they found it very difficult to take in. So it
Hmm.
took a lot of time to make them trust me on this.
Okay, okay.
I hope it works. I hope it works.
It definitely does. It definitely does. But tell me a bit about behind the comment behind this joining. Thus, man and machine become one. Is there a message there that you want to convey?
Well, yes. There are many things that that would impact me. Uh, like man and machine is a thing that it feels like. I mean, it's not. I'm not even somebody. Um, I'm not alone in this. When I think of the way I'm turning into a machine on my day-to-day life, but when I think of you know uh, chicken seller. Who belongs to a minority religion in my city, Guwahati. When I think of him, I feel he's the person who would become a bike most easily. I feel he's the person who can transform into a machine uh, with one push. He just needs one push, and he can transform into that machine. That is what I have felt. And also, there are uh, there were times when I was writing this, a lot of things keeps coming to me, and it's actually also a way of looking at this particular time I was writing this script, and I felt that when when there is a vacancy in our life, we tend to fill it up with different things. It can be different people, it can be different elements in life. We just try to fulfill that vacancy that is created. But sometimes, at least in my life, I have realized that um, it is us ourselves who has to finally fill the gap. It is us who who is responsible for our own life and the way it has to transform. So that's how the idea comes into that it concretizes in that way. All of
Hmm.
these thoughts.
Hmm. Okay, okay. And tell me a bit about how did the casting work for the film?
um, the casting of the film, the main character of the film, portrayed by Raju Roy. He's a learned actor. He studied in National School of Drama in New Delhi, India, and it's a very prestigious institute. And he has been working in few films here and there for some time now, and a lot of plays. I have known him from a long time, and since my first draft itself, I knew that this is the guy I want to cast for this character, because he has this, this emotion in his face. He has that Also, he's very sensitive, as a person, he's very, very sensitive. You see that chicken, in the film. Uh, and he is so sensitive towards that chicken that I can never forget this experience of seeing him and the chicken in the shoot. Uh, so he was there always. Uh, and then the rest of the casting was done by Suruj Kolita, who is our casting director. Uh, we talked a lot about these people, but most of them are from my region, and they are quite experienced. Some of them are very, very experienced. Some of them have done like maybe 60, 70 films. Like for example, Siddhartha Mukherjee, the actor who plays the sweet seller, sweet shop owner. He has done, I think, 60, 70 films. And the policeman, the fat policeman in the film Jadu, he is my teacher, my theater teacher. Uh,
Mm,
he uh, he has been doing children theater for the, I mean I don't know, maybe since 95 or maybe before that. He is a very experienced person as well. So most of them are experienced, and there are very new people as well. And I mean, the people were very helpful, very kind to me, because it's my first film and it is my graduation film from Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute. So they were very, very kind to me, and yeah, I think that's how I cracked it. It's actually their credit, a lot of it,
mhm, mhm.
the casting people.
And
And Esther, sorry,
yeah.
sorry to stop you. There is this South Sudanese actor in our film, Esther Paulino. Esther happened to be studying in New Delhi, and I was looking for an African girl for a long, long time. And then somehow I was, a lot of them seemed fine. And at one point, there was none of them were interested to come and act. None of them. I was struggling with it, And I have this friend from Ethiopia in my film school. His name is Kok Kok Kookook. He is from Ethiopia, and he was in Cannes this year in Cine Foundation, by the way. So he helped me to find the African actors, and he found Esther, and when she came, it was like I mean, I don't know, it was so pleasant to see her on screen. She was so natural. It was a really emotional moment for all of us. We didn't know how a foreigner, a foreign actor who didn't know anything about my region at all will come, and how she's going to react. Moreover, we had budget constraints, we had time constraints. She was a non-actor, but when she came, she brought with her a very beautiful vibe, and she just was so natural. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
how that's how we did it.
And in general, did you allow the improvisation or it was all very strict?
I actually believe a lot on improvisation. In fact, I believe that the pacing of the film has changed after the characters got introduced to the film. Because I believe that every actor has a particular rhythm in them. And it really takes very experienced people to understand and, like, to come down to a particular rhythm amongst themselves in front of the camera. Like Esther, for example, was very new to acting. She has never faced camera before, whereas Raju was a very, very experienced was very experienced in terms of theater, and he had acted in a few movies as well. So I think that synchronization has to, it takes time. We have to give them that time and space, to really find their own rhythm and bring it in front of the camera. I have always worked on this, on improvisation. It Most of the things have been improvised, although we have never deviated from the script, uh, because I mean, I didn't have much dialogues and all on the script. They were very minimum, as you can see even in the final film. So we didn't get deviated from that, but improvisations was always there. I think improvisation and something that is not written on the script is what makes the film.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I have always felt that, you know, it's that magic that gets created when you allow the magic to get created in front of the camera.
Okay. Okay. And tell me a bit about your cooperation with the cinematographer and in general what you wanted to do in the visual aspect of the movie.
With the cinematographer, our cinematographer's name is Shingkhanu Marma, and he is from Bangladesh. He uh, belongs to a minority community again in Bangladesh called the Marmas. And so he is also my batchmate, of course, like in my film school. And we actually, you know, when it began, when we started, sorry, when we started with the script, I when we started talking about the script and the story, he Shinkhanu was not ready to shoot it. He said, I don't think I am the best person to shoot this film because it's very urban. And he kept telling me that he comes from a village and he likes to, you know, his sensibilities um, are more stronger when it comes to villages. But I was really sure about him. You know, I had seen his previous works, and I felt that only that sensibility of a person who came from a small village, who has grown up amidst nature. Um, Only that person can bring that essence that I was looking for in the film. Because our film is not about the city, you know, it was never about the city. It was about a village or a small town that was converting into a city. So I explained it to him a lot, because I told him that I have grown up in this space and you have grown up in a very different space. So when you look at this my spaces, a new kind of sensibility can come. So he decided to come 2 months before the shoot to my area, and we rewrote the script together along with our editor Sadang. So we worked for 2 months before the shoot and for the pre-production of the film. And during that, we decided on the lensing of the film. And it took us a long time to decide on the lensing. You know, I really wanted to go experimental in certain ways when it comes to cinematography as well, because the story demanded something new. You know, that is what I kept feeling. The story needed something new from the cinematography aspect of it. So we were discussing, we kept discussing, and one day I told him that you should suggest me something which you feel that which will take the film to a which will be very different for the film, like something that people have maybe not seen, or maybe people don't imagine. um, then he told me that the Brahmaputra river that we have in Assam, it's very wide, you know, and we were standing near the Brahmaputra, and Shinkhanu told me that, you know, this is what I think the lensing of the film is. I cannot see the whole river with my blank eyes. You know, it is so huge. Although it's a river, but it is so huge that it looks like a sea, and I cannot capture all of it through my normal eyes, you know. So he told me maybe that is why we need a lensing which is wider. So we decided on the 14 lens, and we shot the whole film on a 14 lens.
Mm,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And about the editing, how did you work on that? And I'm also curious if the decision to keep the film at around 1 hour was during editing or before.
Uh, yeah, it was kind of a conscious idea, because we never played around with the edit as such. We did allow the film to. Uh, there is something that our editor always says. You know, he has this quote that he he shares with everyone who asks about the length of the film. So he says that when I was editing, I quote, when I was editing the film, uh, I was looking. I wanted the film to be as short as possible. So when he says this, everybody laughs, because we are supposed to make a shorter film in our film school. So this is the longest film ever made in our film school. So when he says this, people laugh. He says, I quote him again, when I was editing this film, I wanted the film to be as short as possible, but at the same time, I wanted it to be as long as it needed to be. So that is what we always believed in. We always let the film, go as long as it wants to be, because the film has its own pace. We cannot. In fact, we also wanted to make a longer cut, but the film doesn't stand any longer than this, so we had to stop there. A lot of people suggested us to make it into a 75-minute or a film like that, but for us the film didn't hold that long. So this is the best length that we could reach as the film, and fortunately we could cross the 60-minute time for getting into the feature category for a lot of festivals. So yeah, that's how it happened. But
Hmm.
we definitely did a little longer credit, or some places here and there, to reach the 60-minute length.
Hmm. Okay, okay. And tell me a bit, how is the situation in the Assamese movie industry, let's say? How would you describe it?
Um, you must have heard of Rima Das, right?
Yes.
She is a very famous filmmaker, and she's from Assam. So she's one of the greatest, influences for amongst all of us new generation filmmakers. There is Dominic Sangma, who is also my mentor. He belongs to Meghalaya, but from the same region. Dominic Sangma's film Mama and Rapture was there in Locarno. He is a very very uh, kind and very inspiring persona. He's also my creative mentor in the film, and he has really pushed the film and helped us throughout the film. So there are lots of people who are really making films that they really want to make. There is also another, of course, there is this commercial filmmaking that is happening, and that is very important for the whole of the ecosystem to survive. And it is happening. The commercial part of filmmaking is also, by and by, it's getting more and more better and better every day. um, in fact, this last 2 3 months we had around four commercial hits, which is very rare in our region. And like, it's a very vibrant times for us Assamese filmmakers, I feel. Lots of new voices are coming up, and a lot of people are getting inspired, and it's we have we have always had we have had a very turbulent past in the Northeast. We have had a lot of this um, you know insurgency, and a lot of rebellion. There were many. The Assam movement was there. So there has been so many rebel groups and all of this happening throughout the history of Assam, since, I think, since the uh, birth of our nation India. It has been a long long time, and we have had a very, um, so to say, a very bad time for filmmaking. A lot of times it was very difficult for people to even imagine to make films. So this is the era of after the digitalization and things like that. I think it is the time for us to talk about the new ideas and new stories, the fresh stories that the world hasn't seen. So it's a very good time for us in this film industry, I feel.
Okay, okay. And the last question, I guess, are you working on anything new, any new projects?
Yes, I am. I'm working on two ideas which are feature length, and I have been working on them for a long time. And I'm really looking forward to start one of them, which I'm preparing already to pitch and things like that. There are also a few short film ideas that I'm working on. Also working on a few projects as a producer. I want to also experience. the producing part of filmmaking, which is, I think, the part that we lack the most. So it is very important that we, have more idea about the producing aspect of filmmaking. So I really want to learn that. So I'm also attaching with other fellow filmmakers as a producer. I'm trying to take their films as well forward. Let's hope they work. Uh, Also, I'm working on film, children filmmaking kind of idea workshops. I want to do some few workshops which are based on children, which are for children, and it will have theater and filmmaking ingrained in them to have a overall growth of the children, something like that. I have lots of ideas right now, and I'm a fresh graduate, so I can't tell you, so many things are exploding inside my head right now.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah.
okay. Good, good. That's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I am really grateful. I had I always wanted to connect with you in certain ways, because my short film, The Horse from Heaven,
Ah,
was reviewed
mm,
by Asian Movie Pulse, and that is my favorite review of the film. And I
okay.
really wanted to let you know it was
Okay,
really beautiful, and I always felt connected with you, with Asian Movie Pulse. Thank
that's
you so
good.
much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
for
for your
saying this. Great, great.